if you are someone that's interested in joining cosmetology school, you want to go to beauty school, you've always thought about beauty school and you're wondering if it's the right career choice for you, listen up to this week's video, because today we're going to talk about my personal cosmetology school experience. My name is Mandara Kisa and I help new hairstylists bridge the gap between getting licensed to creating the hairstylist journey that they enjoy. So let's start with the first day. My first day of cosmetology school, to sum it up in one word, I would say overwhelming. So it was exciting, yes, it was super exciting, but mostly overwhelming. So just to give you a little bit of a background of why it was overwhelming for me is because during the time when I was going to cosmetology school, I was living alone, okay? And I had been living alone for like the greater part of 10 years. So I was used to kind of like being by myself every single day. I was used to like doing my own thing. I just was used to like being by myself all the time. So to kind of adjust to like being by yourself all the time to like now all of a sudden you're one of 25 and you're sitting right on top of each other and you're 30 and everyone else is like 18, 19 years old. That was just a lot for me to adjust to. Not in a negative way. It just was a bit overwhelming. I think I was a bit like, it was a little bit of like sensory overload. I was one of 25. So my cohort, there was a lot of us, which I was super grateful for, because honestly, the girls that I was in school with, they were super friendly. There was a lot of them. Where I was like lacking, I feel like they helped me. So like, I think that was super helpful, and I'm really grateful that I had those girls. A couple things to highlight on my first day. My teacher was absolutely amazing. I feel like she was the best. If you're watching this, shout out to Miss B. She was absolutely amazing. She had like over like 30 plus years of professional salon experience. She was fun. She was amazing. So like I definitely got really lucky with my teacher. We opened up our beauty kits on the first day, which was super exciting. I'm not even gonna lie, girl, like I started tearing up. I got that beauty kit because for me it was like such a big deal, because I was transitioning into a new career and I had already gone to college, I had already graduated, I already did all that. So like for me to like start over and like start a new career, like that was a huge deal for me. So like my first day definitely was very emotional. I remember one of my girlfriends on the first day, the teacher appointed some of the girls that had already been there, and she appointed them to kind of help the newbies, which I was one of the newbies. I think I was like one of 6 new students for that rotation. So she appointed her, and it's, you know, I feel like that was like an act of God, because the girl that she appointed to help me like check to see if all of my stuff was there in my kit, she actually ended up being like a sister to me at the end. And it was really funny because customers, like the clients that came in through there, they actually thought me and her were sisters because we kind of look alike. So I thought that was funny, and she's like really pretty. So I was like, okay, like if you think I look like her, she's gorgeous, so thank you. So the next thing I have here is I was adjusting to school. So we kind of covered it a little bit earlier, but it was a little bit of an adjustment just from like living by myself for so long and then going into a school setting where there were so many students. I mean, that school was packed. There was 25 of us in the classroom, and I think the students on the salon floor, there was probably like between 20 and 25 of them. So there was like probably approximately like 50 students in the whole school at one time. And if you've ever visited a beauty school campus, like you know that campus is quite, I mean, our campus was kind of big. We had a good sized campus, but compared to like a university, which is like the type of school setting that I was used to, it's quite smaller. So like it just kind of adjusting to like being in such close proximity with like around a lot of people at one time, that was definitely a lot for me. It was a good adjustment for me. I think that sometimes when you live by yourself, I just think that sometimes when you're always alone and you're just like kind of used to always being by yourself and like just doing your own thing, it's good to be in a program where you get to be around people and you get to kind of like bounce ideas off of each other. So that was definitely a little bit of an adjustment for me. But I did enjoy it. I honestly, like, overall super enjoyed my experience. I got really lucky. I got so lucky because my teachers were so knowledgeable. Every single teacher that I had was in the field for years. And one teacher that had worked for a corporate salon for like 30 plus years. Another teacher that worked for herself for decades, and she was like a self-made salon professional, which I have so much respect for both of them. There was another teacher that grew up in a house where her dad owned a salon, and so she just had tons of life experience that way. I had another teacher who, like, I just had so many teachers that were so knowledgeable. So I just felt extremely grateful and extremely lucky that God placed me in this place to be around so many women, had so much life experience to share with me. So I would say, like, if you are looking for a beauty school, girl, do your research. Make sure that those teachers are, you know, kind of find out like what they've done in their life, and, you know, just try to find out like little things like that, because it's going to help you in the long run. So another thing that was a little bit tough for me to adjust to, I would say, was finding a work, school / life balance. So I was working at my serving job. I want to say I was working 4 nights a week at my serving job. And between beauty school, I was going to school 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So I basically did not have a day off of anything for 9 months. That was really mentally taxing for me because it was work, school, work, school, work, school, work, school. Looking back, I'm really grateful that I did that, because now I love working in a salon. I love doing hair. Like, I'm doing all the things. But during that time, it was really difficult because, like I said, I was working 7 days a week. I had no days off. So if you're someone watching this story, you're watching my Cosmo experience story, just know that it is possible. You can work and go to school. It is exhausting if you're working a physically taxing job like I was. And it can be mentally draining because you're trying to like keep up with school, but then you have bills to pay, especially like if you're living on your own. But you can do it. Be encouraged. You can do it. You can absolutely do it, girl. Like, you can 100%. If you have that dream, you have that goal, you have that vision, you have it on your heart, don't listen to everyone else that says you can't do it. Don't listen to people that put it in your head that like, oh, you're going to try to work and go to school. You can't do that. You're going to get burnt out. Don't listen to that. Did I have times where I mentally broke down and I wanted to give up? Yes, of course. I'm human. But you know what? During those moments, I leaned on God. I leaned on God. I was like, you know what, God, I want to give up. And I just was honest. Just be honest. Pray. Stay prayed up. Lean on God. Journal about your feelings. Journal about your emotions. Embrace those uncomfortable emotions. That's what I did. It was hard. It was tough. It was not easy. I'm not going to sit here and say it was easy. I was just about there. I almost quit. And my girlfriends will tell you, but girl, hold on. Don't give up. It was such an amazing experience. I keep saying that and keep repeating that, but it was a really, really cool experience. And I'm really grateful. Honestly, it was probably one of the best things that I've ever done with myself, was go back to school in my 30s when I thought that everything was going to be set. Like, when you're 30, you feel like society pressures you into thinking that everything is like, you're just done. Like, there's no more growth. And that couldn't be farther away from the truth. I feel like going back to school was like, that was like God giving me like a second chance, like giving me a second purpose. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. So in Cosmo school, there was 6 different modules. I came in at chemical texturizing. Basically, chemical texturizing is like a fancy phrase of saying the chemistry of the hair. So we're breaking down on a molecular level, basically breaking down the bonds of the hair, hair structure, hair anatomy. It's very, very technical. So like, yes, it's very technical. I remember before I was a pre-nursing major, when I went to university, before I declared a music major, I was pre-nursing. So I took a bunch of science classes. The first day of Cosmo school was chemical texturizing, so it felt kind of similar to my pre-nursing. It was very, very, very scientific. There was a lot of chemistry. Don't let that scare you. Don't let that scare you. The teachers, they're there to help you. They're there to put the material in your head. Like, so that was my personal, it was a lot. We went through chemical texturizing. We went through hair design, which is basically your basic updos, finger waves, stuff like that. We did hair cutting. We learned all about hair color, which was one of my favorite modules because I love color. I love hair color. And we also did an entire module on nails. Nails was super fun because the teacher let us do nails on each other, and we got to do that for about a month. So that was super fun. And then we also got to do skincare, which was really fun too because we got to do facials on each other. So for all my esthetician girlies out there, definitely if you're going for Cosmo, just know that they do focus on some aesthetics. We focused on skincare for about a month. So if you're someone who's watching this video, you're interested in cosmetology, make sure you look into the program to see if they have an aesthetics program. If you know in your heart you just want to do aesthetics, just go for aesthetics. We talked earlier about how I had some amazing teachers. Just were so amazing. Oh my gosh, I remember, this just popped into my head. I had this one teacher that we were learning how to curl with a Marcel iron, right? And those of you guys that don't know, a Marcel iron is basically a curling iron that has a long rod attached to it. So you basically have to, when you spin it, you basically use it like this, as opposed to a regular curling iron that you use like this. So we were using a Marcel curling iron, and I remember that teacher was like, when she taught us, I got so frustrated with my fingers because I just didn't have the muscle memory. And that's okay. You're not going to have the muscle memory when you first start learning it, but I'm such an eager learner. Like, I swear there's like a 5-year-old spirit that lives in my heart. Like, when I have something in my heart, I just want to do it right now, right? So she was trying to teach us how to use the Marcel iron. She was super patient, super kind. She had her hand over my hand and she was like, do it like this, Mandara, like do it like this. And I was like, I just can't get it. Like, I just get so frustrated. But I remember, like, she was patient with me and she wouldn't let me give up. And so every day she was like, okay, time for everyone to practice your Marcel iron. And I was like, you know, you get the stomping, you start rolling your eyes and you're like, I don't want to practice it. But she just was so patient, and like that just, and wouldn't you know, now the Marcel iron, I don't even reach for my regular curling iron anymore. I reach right for the Marcel. So just know that when you go through your cosmetology school experience, expect to have teachers that will not give up on you. And yes, you will be frustrated. It's totally normal to be frustrated when your mind is like, curl it this way, but your fingers don't have those mechanics yet. So it's totally understandable to be frustrated, but she wasn't giving up. And I'm like, you know what? I like that. I like that she didn't give up. Another thing that I want to mention with my Cosmo experience is that basically it was a lot of self-motivation. So in the classroom, it's very structured, it's theoretical, it was all theory. But once I got to the salon floor, it was basically like, okay, now the teachers did their job in teaching me. Now it's time for me to retain what I learned and put it into physical practice. Now it's time for me to motivate myself and decide between if I want to stand at my stylist station for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week and do nothing and scroll on TikTok, which if you don't have clients and you're a stylist, you're in a salon, you got to decide between if you want to sit at your station and twiddle your thumbs, or if you're going to get up and help around the salon, or if you're going to get up and practice on your mannequin. But I did during the time where we didn't have clients, or maybe it was a slow season or whatever. What I did is I made it a point for myself to do at least 3 mannequins a day. And it's very doable. Think about it. If you're in class 8 hours and you have no clients the whole 8 hours, you could probably actually do more than 8. You could 3. You could probably do like 4. You're giving yourself 2 hours per mannequin. And I think that like if you're still learning, 2 hours is a good amount of time. I just was touching my mannequin, that's why you see hair. I think that 2 hours is a good amount of time for you to shoot for each style. So that's what I did. I was always up and working on my mannequin. I was up. I didn't care like what the girls around me were doing. The girls around you might be doing other things, and they might, you know, this one might be having a bad day. This one might be complaining. This one might have clients all day. Don't worry about what they're doing. Just focus on you, focus on your lane. I knew that I wanted to have 100 posts by graduation. So yes, I made a goal for myself. I'm gonna do 3 or 4 mannequin heads every single day. And that got me to my 100 post goal before I graduated. So I was happy. So you could definitely do that. Definitely think about that, and definitely just try not to get distracted, because distraction is everywhere. Overall, I would say I had an amazing cosmetology school experience. There was some lows, there was some highs, there was some lows, there was some burnout. There was a lot of school politics. I would suggest just don't even get involved. There was a lot of like, again, there was that age gap between, since I was in a daytime program, there was mostly like 18 and 19-year-old students there. So from their perspective, they had just graduated high school. They hadn't gone to college yet. So like they were in a specific mindset, which is understandable. Me personally, I had already been there, done that, already graduated college. This was like my second, third career change. So like my mindset was like, I'm here to do what I gotta do. I gotta be motivated. I gotta stay grounded. And no matter what's happening around me, I'm not gonna falter. I'm not gonna waver. So that was my cosmetology school experience. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed the content in this video, thank you so much for staying all the way to the end. You might want to check out my next video where I discuss do's and don'ts of salon interviews. Thanks so much, you guys. Bye.